Hey guys, just finished watching Cloak and Dagger, Season 1, Episode 8. Ghost Stories. Wow, what an episode. So we only have 2 episodes left, and I love this episode. This episode was so good. Such a great ending to this episode. So let's jump right into it. So we start off, we see Billy and Nathan Bowen just kind of giving Tandy and Tyrone some kind of a motivation speech, never, don't get distracted, keep your head up type thing. It's a really cool thing like that. And then we see Tandy, she sees Peter Scarborough visiting Ivan Hess. So when she's on her way to visit Ivan Hess, Peter Scarborough's walking out of the place, and she talks to him about Ivan. She talks to Ivan Hess about him, and he tells her about a memo that he had sent the company that he had stored in a safety deposit box. And then Tandy invites Tyrone to remember Billy and Nathan, her father. That's when she lifts his mother's Roxxon badge. Then O'Reilly ends up warning Tyrone that Connors is onto him, because she sees that Connors is looking into him with a sketch and stuff. And then Tandy gets her father's memo. We don't really see that Tandy getting the memo or anything, but I guess there's no need to see it if Connors has no idea about it, right? Peter Scarborough had no idea about it. And Tyrone wants to haunt Connors as Billy, and that was a really interesting idea, the way they did that. And that's when Tandy goes, and she goes and captures Scarborough and hostage, and kind of threatens to reveal everything, which I don't know why she did that. I mean, she what was the whole point of scaring him into a confession if she had all the evidence she needed? Why tip her hand like that in the first place? I think it's an interesting idea, but it's just kind of like there's no point to it. She didn't torture him. She didn't get any satisfaction from doing that a little bit. So it would be cool to see where things go with that. And Tyrone ends up showing O'Reilly and Finch or Futch and his powers and stuff, how he can teleport, and they use that to kind of get a confession out of Connors, and that was really cool seeing that, the way they did that. Although at the end, I don't know why, why would they do, why would he give up his hand? Like Tyrone, the way they end the show, so it keeps going. As she's arresting Connors, O'Reilly mentions a Misty Night by name. That was really cool there. Tandy's mother. It's later on when we see Tandy's mother, we see because later on we see O'Connor's. When they record the confession, Tyrone says, "Did you get that?" And that's when they kind of reveal his hand, that oh no, he's not really Billy. He's not really a part inside of Connor's head, making him go crazy. There's all a setup to get him to confess, and I didn't really get that as to why tip your hand like that. Why not end this, record the whole situation, and then take off and believe that he was and let him believe that it was in his head, and don't ever tip it off that it wasn't him, and you keep letting him believe that it's in his head even until the trial. I mean, heck, I think it would be really interesting to see that. Maybe it would be cool if while he's trying to confess in the courtroom, Tyrone could appear in the background real quietly, in the far corner, and then disappear, and then appear there, and then appear, I think that'd be really interesting to see things like that. Or just to let him believe, and as long as he constantly believes that he's being haunted by the kid's body, he told, and the more he confesses about it, the less he's being haunted by it, and the better he'll be able to, the less insane he'll be driven by it. I think that would have been an interesting story, and that would have been a way to keep him to it, to keep him believing that he's going crazy, right? So I think the idea with that is just kind of, I just don't know why he decided to go, oh yeah, good to get that on camera, and kind of reveal the whole magic trick. It's like pulling the curtains behind the scenes. It's like, why reveal that? Why not let him think he's going crazy? I mean, even if you're thinking about it as a really revenge thing to get taken down and justice type thing, to me it sounds a lot more justice, not just sending him to prison, but also sending him to prison and making him think that he's going crazy. I think that is icing on the cake, the cherry on top, to just sending him to prison type thing. I think why Tyrone would have to just kind of show him that, yeah, I got you, I get that, and I get, that's episode 8 on episode 10, but it's just, I just don't know why. If he hadn't have just kind of revealed his whole hand when they were ending it, it probably would have saved Fitch's life type thing. So we see Tandy's mother, and Tyrone, and they're all mourning Billy and Nathan Bowen, and that's when Tandy's mother grabs the two of them, grabs their hand, and they see Tandy's old door. That's when they see a memory, one of Tandy's mother's memories of her father hitting her mother, and we realize at the end there that was the last last interaction that they had before he took off to get Tandy at the ballet, and then falling into the river was he hit her and knocked her out, and that's why when Tandy finds her as a kid, after the car accident and stuff, and waking on the beach, she finds her mother passed out with drugs and alcohol because her father was hitting her. And so, I think it's an interesting idea that, and then that's when Tandy ends up calling Peter Scarborough to take the money instead of clearing her father's name. So I think it's really going to be cool to see where things go with that and the whole Peter Scarborough thing. I really was hoping that there'd be more of a connection between, O'Reilly and Peter Scarborough type thing. Maybe there could be some sort of cover up, and O'Connor's was hired by Peter Scarborough. That could be some sort of connection there, because right now they seem very, very separate. But I think that's one thing I was worried about as things are wrapping up. But it was really cool to see how things kind of almost getting there, but just not just yet, since we still have 2 more episodes to go. So I think it's going to be cool to see where things go with this, and how things kind of finish up, and things were so close, and then yet just the rug was pulled in from underneath. I think that's really going to be fun to see where things are going to go with this. So I'm really excited to see where things go, how things are going to go with that, because Tandy did see that last memory, the last memory her mother has of her father, and yet I guess it would be the most prominent one. But yet she still kind of was in love with him by seeing that video. She was, in love with the idea of him type thing. So I think it's really going to be cool to see where things go with that. And, if she ever confronts her mother about it, is there more stories to that? Was that just the one story? Because right now, because if you think about it, at that point in his life, that moment when he was going through all those files that the coffee got spilled on, not to give him the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, he was, there's a lot of pressure on those files and stuff, because a lot of lives were at stake. He was looking at all these people at the plant, right? So I think he could have just been on edge. So who knows? I feel like we need a little bit more of the story to see where things are going to go with that. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the way things turned out. Maybe that's the way Tandy's mother, how things kind of were perceived by her. Maybe it's a memory's been changed because of drugs and alcohol. I think it could be something else behind that. I feel like it's more than just, they're not just going to end it with, her father was a wife beater, and he was just a bad person. He doesn't deserve to be, remembered. I think there might be a bit more to that. I think that's really going to be cool to see where maybe Tandy can touch her mother, go inside her memories a little bit more, and kind of dig deeper and find out the truth. Because I feel like there could be something, a little bit messed up. Maybe finding out something that in the maybe Roxanne was involved with somehow changing Tandy's mother's memory. I don't know, by somehow getting her access to these drugs to keep her, at bay, getting her addicted to pills, making sure she was, unable to fight them type thing. So I think, because they had Ivan S was, a vegetable, he couldn't really do anything. But yet the other side that they had to worry about was Melissa Bowman. So I think that's really going to be cool to see where things go with that, and how I feel like there has to be more truth. There's something hidden in that message, in that scene. I think something is not quite as it seems between that exact flashback, to have him be so have it just switched on like that, and then now that Tandy's going to give Peter Scarborough take his money, and she did, and give him all the evidence. So that'd be cool to see where things go with that, and see how things kind of figure out, and how things hopefully can become together between Connors and Peter Scarborough. That could be really interesting to see that. So all in all, really excited to see where things go with this. Looks pretty cool in the next episode. The trailer looks really awesome. That'll be really interesting to see, especially with only 2 episodes left, and how things are going to go, especially with Fitch dead and stuff. I think that's really going to be quite interesting to see that, because it looks like everyone in the police station knew that that O'Reilly and Fitch were the ones who arrested Connor. So I feel like, just straight up killing him like that is going to be an interesting idea, and it looks like, based on the trailers for next week's episode, O'Connor gets out and stuff, probably because of his uncle or something. But at the same time, they had so much evidence on him, and Fitch wasn't just someone who's going to testify. He was actually had video footage of it. So I think it's really going to be interesting to see as to how that kind of works out, because it seems a bit too out in the open, the fact that Fitch is just dead like that. He was killed and put in a fridge. It's no accident. It's clearly murder, right? So I think it's going to be interesting to see where things go where things go with that, and how does O'Connor's get out of that, and maybe not O'Connor's himself, but who did that? Was it could it have been could have been one of not Tyrone's, but Billy's friend there, I forget his name, who O'Reilly shot in the last episode. Could have been one of his gang members or something. Who knows? It could be quite interesting to see as to where things go with that, and how things get connected there, and to see where things go with Tandy and Peter Scarborough and all that stuff. But hopefully, I'm thinking that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to that flashback with Tandy's father, because it's an interesting idea to see it flipped on his head like that. But I think it's really going to be quite. I feel like her mother, it's been so long since that memory. I think that memory's been changed in her mother's head. You don't remember it exactly the way it is. You remember it the way you want it to be. And I think that could be an interesting idea with that. Maybe the fact that, the drugs, the alcohol that she's been addicted to for the past, 10, 15 years, could have changed the memory, and she's, that's what she wants to remember, is that, he hit her type thing. He might have yelled at her a lot. It's because he was frustrated with the situation, and so much, all that pressure was on him, and there's lives at stake and stuff, and he didn't want it all out, right? But maybe she remembers her getting hit in order of a way to kind of, her way to get herself out of that situation, a way for it to be like, yes, I'm happy, try to be happy out of a terrible situation, finding a way, to make herself happy by imagining that she got hit type thing. I don't know. I think it could be an interesting idea to see something like that. So I'm just going to be quite weary of that flashback, to see where things are going to go. I feel like there's more to it, and I can't wait to see more to it, because it's a bit too convenient for her to just be, yep, okay, that's it. The Tandy and Nathan Bowen stuff is all done because he hit her mother, and now they're gonna get some money from it, and that's it. Or Tandy got some money, she's not sharing it with her mother type thing. Doesn't look like much that she had. I mean, maybe $100,000. Doesn't look like really she had like $1 million type thing. Because if it was $1 million, they could easily just take off and go away, and they'd be more than really good. But we'll see where things go with that, and how much she gets, and how she ends up using that to see where things go from here. So it's really going to be cool to see where things go in the next 2 episodes. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Season 1, Episode 8 of Cloak and Dagger, Ghost Stories. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be one of the trailer reviews coming out of Comic-Con. I'll be doing one of those coming up, probably the Titans. Me reacting to that. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.